I've been living in Spain for 5 months now, and after I made a video about why I left America and moved to Spain, some of you asked me to make another video about the adjustment phase after I got to Spain and things that shocked me here after the US. And I thought, it might be actually very interesting to remember first couple weeks and what differences did I experience. For those who still don't know, I'm originally from Ukraine. I moved to Poland at the age of 17 and I spent 8 years living there. During COVID pandemic, I met my American husband there, and in order to stay together and figure out his visa, he was like, "Hey, why don't we move to America?" Long story short, I spent more time on getting the visa to go there than actually living there. After 14 months of living in North Carolina, we saw an opportunity to move to Spain, and as that was our dream, we didn't think twice. So now, as you have a bit of context, we can get into the cultural shocks or my first impressions after getting back to Europe from the US. So first cultural shock is a low-paced lifestyle. Yes, it's true, everything is slower in Spain, and that can be a big shock, especially if you're coming from such a fast-paced hustle and bustle culture like it is in the US. That one was easy for me to adjust to, but it took at least 3 months for my husband to somehow get used to it. And still, I can't say that he fully accepted this life tempo, because sometimes it does relax you too much and then you kind of don't want to do anything. In Madrid, there is more this office and working culture, and you can see people being in a hurry. But across Spain, generally, people don't rush. They tend to stroll, occasionally stop, chat, and then continue walking slowly. What I absolutely love is the culture of leisure dining in Spain. In the US, you would sit in a cafe and waiters would come up to you like 1,000 times. And once you don't have anything else to order, they would bring you a check and kind of give you a hint that your time is over, so get out of here. In Spain, you can actually relax, take your time to eat and chat, and once you're ready to pay, you need to look for a waiter and ask them to bring check. They respect you taking time for leisure dining and chatting and won't disturb you non-stop. And by the way, Spanish people eat late here. The dinner time is between 9 up to 11 p.m. So restaurants have their own schedules of how they work, when they open or close. So talking about grocery shopping and fresh produce, this one was such a big shock for me after coming from the US. I always skeptically laughed about the stereotype that fresh produce in the US is tasteless and kind of plastic, but it's true. It is tasteless from Walmart, it's tasteless from Target. Some people buy fresh organic produce in Whole Foods from farmers or in Sprouts, but at what cost? Like, you have to pay double or triple to get some taste of it, and still often it's not as good as the fresh produce in Europe. In Spain, as soon as we arrived, we had a salad in the railway station in Madrid, and that was the best salad I had in a while in my life. It was so fresh and crispy, and the salad leaves were slightly bitter, but like given the feeling of vitamins and nutrients. And that was an $8 salad on the railway station. There is no culture of stocking your pantry here. There are even no pantries. Fresh produce actually goes bad fast, so you need to go to buy fresh food every 2 or 3 days. Gladly, all the convenience stores and supermarkets are usually close to the place you live, so it's only like 5-10 minutes on foot, and you even don't need a car. What is also different is that with time, I figured out where is better to buy olives, where to buy fruit and vegetables, and where to buy fish and seafood. It usually looks like a morning marathon around stores and does take time, but instead you get fresh, cheap, good quality food that makes your belly very happy. It is also such a relief in cooking. I had to spend quite a lot of time in the kitchen in the States by trying to make food eatable and adding a bunch of spices or trying to make complex recipes. But what I love about Spain is that it is easy to make food. Because it is tasty on its own, you just go and buy tomatoes and mozzarella, sprinkle some olive oil on top, and voila, salad is ready. And then you go to buy fish and ask the market to peel it for you. You bake it with salt, pepper, and lemons, and voila, dinner is ready. I can talk endlessly about food. I'm thinking even to make a separate video covering the topic, but we're moving on. By the way, in case you're also planning on moving to Spain but don't know where to start, what visa to choose, or you're freaking out about taxes, I recommend you checking out Alison and Alistair's website called Moving to Spain. They have lots of free and useful information on different topics like visas, taxes, healthcare, banking, housing. They also have information on such things as how to move your furniture or your pet or money from abroad. They even made a free step-by-step checklist which tells you exactly what you should do before relocating and after your arrival. Just click the link in the description below to get access to it. Enjoy! I'll be honest, first 2 weeks during the evening time, we felt kind of weird on the streets. We got used so much to constantly being tense and on alert in the States in the evening. It is silly to mention, but we were freaking out from every single sudden movement, thinking that the person would point a gun at us or something. Here in Spain, with time, eventually we relaxed, and especially after seeing kids by their own without parents playing football outside at 1 a.m. Okay, no joke, at 1 a.m. When my friend visited me from the UK, she was nervous about going back home from the center at midnight by ourselves. But when she saw many women taking buses, walking by their own, or having some drinks on the benches, she relaxed and she mentioned that the vibe is definitely very chill and it's not like that in the UK. Everything is teeny tiny. This relates to Europe in general, but was a huge contrast for us coming from the States. No trucks or jeeps, just Mini Coopers, Volkswagens, or Fiats around. This is funny, but the size of our bathroom in the States was the same size as our current second bedroom. It was very awkward for us taking a shower here, like you were squeezed in a box or something, but all the appliances are small. If in the States I could heat up a whole turkey in the microwave, here it's not the case. They are small, washing machines are ridiculously small, and you need to wash 3 separate loads of laundry instead of one. But it really doesn't matter, we got used to it fast and it was weird just in the beginning. There is no culture of small talk here, and this is such a relief for me. In the US, it was literally a torture to get on the phone with some internet or utilities provider and try solve a problem. And don't get me wrong, they were very helpful and professional, it was taking ages. We could spend 40 minutes on the phone, what could have been done in 10 minutes max. And it's just because you need to go through some kind of small talk ritual and tell them all unnecessary information about your life, which they'll forget in 2 minutes. Spanish people are friendly and helpful, but the difference is that they genuinely are. They don't need to put a fake smile on and have a small talk just because of job protocol. If they want to smile, they will. If they don't, they won't. They're also more direct, so if you happen to have a conversation with a worker or a stranger, it's because it happened naturally and wasn't forced. There is no such absurd tipping culture as it is in the States. I don't get this nonsense about tipping in the cafes if you simply buy an ice cream or a coffee, or if it's a self-service buffet and still a screen with the tips on pops up at the cash register. The tipping culture in the US is completely out of control, and they just simply have to pay their workers more. That's it. In Spain, if you want to tip a good service, you just tip few euros. If not, it isn't mandatory. Another thing that shocked me is that a lot of apartments that come at a reasonable price are in grandma style. Some of the apartments, ours as well, will have a window in one of the bedrooms outlooking the inner patio, so-called well. In such rooms, it's usually louder and you can't open a window, because if your neighbor has his window open and is cooking, then all the smells will get into your room. During winter time, it is very cold inside and there is no heating, and during the summer, it gets extremely hot. And there are things that are just typical for Spanish apartments. No need to lock the entrance door, you just shut it. Morning starts with rolling the blinds up, and when it's sunny and hot, you unroll the sunshade. I started to dress up again and even wear jewelry when going to do the groceries. People don't wear sport clothes here outside if they're not going for a jog or to the gym. And thankfully, they're not wearing pajamas here in the stores. As you see, despite being European, I still had some cultural shocks and felt the contrast after coming to Spain from the US. There are some things to adjust to, but it's a fun process of discovering these differences. And overall, we feel much better living here. Check out my other videos where I compare the US to Spain, and see you next week. Hasta pronto!